Hi everyone, welcome to Fat to Thin Seniors RNY. I'm Raven, I'm 76 years old, and I had gastric bypass surgery on December 16, 2019. Medicaid improved the surgery. Last week I talked about meal planning and once a week meal prep and what's next. In this vlog I'll be talking about what happened this past week. Am I following omens? Is it just coincidences? What's going on? Am I on the right track? If you're curious, please join me on this journey and continue to watch. And please comment. Last week I stopped thinking about food all day long. I stopped watching food porn. It just stopped. I think the meal prep worked wonders. I really believe that it was the meal prep, that because I already had everything all situated and ready for me to eat, and all I got to do is throw it in the micronuclear for a minute, I didn't have to think about food. And so I didn't. Works really good. I was wondering last week if I was feeling hungry, because around 11 o'clock, around 3 o'clock, and then again in the evening, 7, 8 o'clock, I was hungry. But I'm beginning to think that I'm not hungry. I think that, I have done intermittent fasting, and I realized when I thought about it, that at the beginning of the intermittent fasting, I was looking for something at 8 o'clock in the morning. Every morning. My stomach would growl, I'd get acid, I'd get all kinds of things, and I just wasn't going to do it. So after a while, my stomach stopped looking for food at 8 o'clock. So I think that's what's going on with me now. Somehow I've decided on 3 meals a day at 11, 3, and 7:30 in the evening, and that's when my stomach starts growling, and that's when it's looking for stuff, and that's when I find myself staring at the refrigerator and that kind of thing. But since I've realized that's probably what it's doing, and then I'm saying to myself, am I really hungry? Do I really want something to eat? Do I feel good enough to actually eat something? And then so the hunger, the growling, all of that kind of stuff, it just stopped. So I guess I wasn't hungry. Anyway, I realized too that I'm a food hoarder. I had no idea that I know I had a lot of food in the house, but I had no idea that every available space is consumed with some kind of food that I don't have to eat right now. They all have a long shelf life. But every time I go into the grocery store, I'll pick up something else, and knowing full well that I don't need anything else, and stick it in that closet, or that Tupperware tub, or whatever it is. So it was very interesting to come to the conclusion that, yeah, I'm a food hoarder. I probably ate with the same kind of mindset of being a food hoarder. I got to eat this up because it's going to go bad, and that kind of stuff. I think it also ties into emotions and stress and all of that kind of good stuff. The reason that I even hoard is probably due to something from way back when. So now that I've realized that, I believe anyway, stop myself from constantly buying stuff. Because I need to eat up what's here. And eating it up at, 6 ounces a day is going to be a long haul. Anyway, this past week, I lost my cane. I've been using a cane for at least 25 years. And over the years, I've lost about 4 or 5 of them. You know, it seems to be about every 5 years I lose them, you know. But I also realize that when I lose them at that particular time, I don't really need the cane. And that's why they got lost. So anyhow, I was riding around Walmart and I used a righty cart and bought some bras. Found that I'm halfway between a large and an extra large, which is unbelievable because every other bra I've got in this house is 2X or larger. Just amazing. So I've been throwing out bras, you know, what the heck. But anyway, so I got some new bras. Somewhere along the line, I left the cane, probably in the cart. It's just amazing. Anyway. Excuse me. I'll be right back. So yesterday I lost my cane. And the day before yesterday, I started brewing kombucha. I tried kombucha about a week ago. Realized that my stomach, absolutely, my entire gut, everything settled down just as nice as pleased. I started going to the bathroom. I wasn't constipated. You know, my stomach wasn't hurting. Nothing like that. So I decided I'm going to brew some kombucha. Okay. I found too that I can eat more and my stomach is more comfortable when I drink the kombucha. I used to brew beer years and years and years ago when I lived up in the mountains, the 𝗙𝗵𝒂𝒃𝒍𝒆 of New York State, way up in snow country, absolute snow country. Anyway, I used to brew beer and I used to trade it. I mean, I got tires. I never got cash for it, but I used to trade for things. And then they came to be, after a while, you know, I got a name in the neighborhood, I guess, or something of the sort. There's this old guy that used to come down from further up on the hill. And he would drive down. He was in his 90s, 96, 97, whatever. And he used to come down and he would sit with his knees as close as possible to the wood stove. He said, because it relieved his arthritis in his knees, the heat did. And he would drink beer. And he came down quite often. And he would just tell me stories about the mountains and when his kids were small and that kind of good stuff. Finally, he stopped coming because his wife came down and said, look, stop giving him beer, okay? And so that was the end of him. But it was cool while it lasted. The stories were unbelievable. He talked about once when he sent his daughter to school, he put her on the horse and sent her to school. And they used to have at that school, and we're not talking too long ago, you know, they had a barn to put the kids' horses or whatever they came in on because everybody lived out in the middle of nowhere. But at any rate, he sent his daughter to school. She was about 5 years old, kindergarten, first grade. And it started snowing that day. And I mean, it was just really, 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 and he tried to get out to take the tractor or whatever to get to the school to see if he could get his daughter, but she couldn't. About halfway there of trying to plow his way through or however, he saw her and the horse coming along, you know, and the horse just knew how to get home and brought the baby home, you know, which was kind of cool. I realized, though, that I had drunk the kombucha and it did such wonderful stuff. And I went out and I bought some more kombucha, but this stuff is expensive. I mean, you know, this is $3 to $8 a bottle. I mean, it's more expensive than liquor, you know. And we're talking, you know, a 13 to 16 ounce bottle. And I can make it for nothing, you know, the thing is. And I realize that I have everything I need to get started to make it, okay? I've been collecting tea because I'm a tea drinker. I've been collecting tea for years. I've got things like Darjeeling and oolong and different kinds of black pekoe and green teas. And I have my own chai recipes that I used to make or still make occasionally. I make a bulletproof tea that is just unreal. Anyway, so I said, sure, I can make it myself. I got everything. Last May, which is really strange, I bought a heavy-duty commercial glass sun tea bottle jar. It's a big thing, 2.5 gallons, for $5 at Walmart. Never was used, and it had a spigot on it. I realized I had to change the spigot because it was plastic, and this is a fermented drink and it will blow it out. So I got to steal one spigot, $5. So the whole deal cost me $10, right? I already had a heating pad mat to start seedlings from years ago when I had a house and a yard, and I don't know why I brought it with me, but I just kept it, you know. And I bought and never opened. Just before I started keto, I bought 4 pounds of sugar. So I've been carting that around too, and it's been almost a year. I never opened it. I just kept 4 pounds of sugar. So I got everything to start brewing. I even have the bottles from the kombucha that I bought while getting this together, so that which I can reuse. So I should do the first decant somewhere around Tuesday, Wednesday next week, or a week, up to a week after that. 2 weeks. So then I'm going to decant it in the bottles. Some I bought, some I saved. I'm going to put different fruit juices in it and see what I come up with, what recipes they have out there. So I was collecting all of this stuff and having all of this stuff, and some of it for quite some time, you know, I've been collecting. Is it coincidence or is it an omen? Am I supposed to do this to get my gut health together? Why not? What the hey? Sounds good, right? As for the cane, I've been using a cane since I ran into a tree on a toboggan and crushed my ankle and broke my leg in very many places. And sometimes I walk, well, if at home I walk without a cane. If it's around the house, someplace that's steady, I'm without a cane. But in general, I always have a cane with me, right? Last week I was talking with my oldest daughter about getting herself a cane. She had slipped while at work and broke her foot in 3 places, and still, almost 6 months later, she's not allowed to put her foot on the floor because it's too much weight. But she was looking forward and thinking about canes and that kind of stuff, so I suggested that she buy a hurricane because that's what I had and that's what I really liked out of all of the different kinds of canes that I've used. Mostly because it folds up and, you know, and it's real easy to use, open and close and carry and that kind of stuff. And then a few more times, you know, last week I was in places, people asked me about my cane because my hurricane was red. And a few times these past 2 weeks, I've just not been using it. You know, I use a banister to go up and down stairs and leaving it in the car, that kind of thing, you know. Just generally not using it. Yesterday, I was at the doctor's office getting another EKG, home Holter monitor to check my heart thing. And this man asked me about my hurricane because he had one of those canes with the big feet on the bottom, you know. And he said the problem with that is that he would put it down sometimes and find people's feet stuck up underneath it. You know, they'd walk up close behind him or next to him, and their feet would go up underneath the bottom of the claws, and just strange stuff, you know. And so he's been thinking about getting a hurricane, but it has smaller claws on the bottom. But I thought it was a good deal. I don't know, you know, it's a matter of how you feel about stability, that kind of a thing. But anyway, I told him it was cool. So anyway, from there I went to Walmart and I finally got some new bras, okay? I found out that I'm halfway between an extra large and a large. So, here goes. That's it. I don't know, you can't see boobs. Thing is that it's too small, causes too much cleavage right there. Anyhow, so I went to 𝗙𝒵 and I was riding around and looking at stuff and picking up more stuff, food that I didn't need to have in the house. And I left my cane somewhere. I'm not sure if I left it in a righty cart or if I left it in a regular cart, because there was this woman who needed the ride cart and I was getting ready to go out, and I left her with the cart and put my food in a regular cart and went. Anyway, somewhere in there. Meanwhile, when I get home and I realize that, my cane is not in my car, I called up Walmart. Nobody turned it in. Nobody turned it in the next day. Meanwhile, in a panic, I ordered another cane from Amazon because they deliver in one day. And they had it in red, which is what I wanted. So anyway, so the setup was then that here I am yesterday with no cane, but I have to walk Rowley. And that was very uncomfortable, the thought, because there's a lot of pea stone and stuff like that in the walkways. But I've got Nordic Track walking sticks, which I don't have over here. And I've had them for at least 5 years. And at one point I was using them, and what I like about them is that they make you stand up straight while you're walking, so your back doesn't hurt, that kind of stuff. And I had gotten up to about 3 miles at one point using those poles. So last night I used one pole because I had the leash to hold on to with Rowley. And that worked out pretty good. I didn't have any problems. So this morning I secured Rowley's leash to my waist, and I took 2 poles and walked him today. And that was really cool. That was really cool. So, should I send the new cane back or just hold it in case? Okay. I don't know if I feel comfortable everywhere without having a cane available. So I'm leaning towards I'll just keep it. So I spent some money and I'll just keep it. But is this the universe telling me to get rid of the cane, get out there and do some walking, and walk? I found yesterday too that when I was walking Rowley and I was just trying to walk without using the pole, that I really don't know how to walk without using some kind of an aid. I have a tendency to list from side to side and that kind of thing. So it's beneficial that I get out there. But is this an omen? Do you think? Is this a coincidence? Should I be moving? It appears that I should, right? Anyway, as far as that goes, this week for medical, I tried a kombucha. I think there's just what I needed to settle my stomach. I don't know if it's good for everybody. It's got a sour, sweet kind of taste, strange. I used to drink a lot of apple cider vinegar and honey. And it kind of reminds me of the similar kind of taste. I couldn't tell you which one I like better though. I don't know. I got to brew around and see. Maybe I'll come up with something tasting really terrific. I did have the halter on for 24 hours to check my heart. And my next appointment, I think, is next Friday with the heart doctor. I have to ask him, because even walking, my heart rate goes up into the 150s. If I should even be out there walking, should I be training? Feels good. I mean, it doesn't feel good. I get this like burning something going on there. So I know when I need to slow down. But it shouldn't be going up to 150 unless I was all out running, which I'm not doing. I'm not doing that kind of exercise. I am speeding it up and I am walking faster than usual and that kind of stuff. And a little bit further, but it shouldn't be going up to the 150s. Anyway, I managed not to throw up But one day this week, I think, this past week, since I started the kombucha, I have not been throwing up. I have not been getting acid reflux or anything like that. It's kind of pleasant not to ache and hurt all the time. I'm sometimes drinking protein shakes. I'm mostly drinking kombucha. I'm thinking maybe I could combine them, but I haven't done that yet. We'll give it a try. And again, I lost 1 pound. But I don't care. You know, I lost 1 pound. I still lost. You know what I mean? Now, as far as Rowley goes, Rowley's walking pretty good, actually. He surprises me every day. He's really, really doing good. I was walking him yesterday, and a neighbor said, "Hey, how you doing?" Whatever. And so I stopped to talk, a few seconds. He actually sat down next to my foot while I spoke to her. I was there a good 5-10 minutes talking with her. This is the same woman that last week he was barking at her and lunging at her violent, like he was going to tear her apart, Yesterday he sat down at my feet and waited until I finished talking. I don't know. That's really wonderful. That's really wonderful. I think he could walk a lot further. I've pretty much almost walked the perimeter of the lower half of this park, which is over a mile. I've done almost a mile. Yes. This week I've walked at least 4 miles in 4 days, a mile each day, and sometimes a mile and a half. So, and I feel like I could still go further. So to sum up, I'm feeling good, really good. I don't have any regrets about the gastric bypass, except that I wish I could have done it sooner. Because then I could have been healthier sooner, you know what I mean? I wish I knew what I knew. I wish I knew then what I know now, but that's just about everything. But that's it. So anyway, take care of yourselves, okay? Please like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And don't forget to click show more to see this description below. And as I said before, take care of yourselves and blessed be.